right, let's do this. Let's do episode 1 of Nostalgebra. Are you ready, sir?
I've never been more ready, except for maybe in the year 1992 when I was, or 1982 when I was literally born ready.
Wow, I was going to say that you gave yourself a decade. Welcome, everybody, to Nostalgebra, the first episode of Nostalgebra, the episode that has not yet got a slogan, but we'll talk about that in just a second. My name is Liam. Who have I got here with me?
My name is Robert. Robert.
Ah.
My name is Robert. I don't
So
know
formal.
why I decided to call myself Robert.
So formal. The That's Rank podcast ended, and all of a sudden you've become a very suave gentleman. My name is Robert. Hello, my name is Robert. Well, unless you've got that, luxury of being able to extend your name. I do not have that luxury. I am Liam, and that is it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Liamed.
I mean, I could Leonardo it up, I suppose, if I wanted to, if I want to get really fancy. But is that my name?
Leonardo.
Is that my name? I'm not entirely sure. But we digress already. Look, nothing's changed. If you guys remember us from the That's Frank podcast, nothing's changed. It's still Rob and Liam going off on tangents immediately once the episode starts, even though we're here with a brand spanking new podcast, a brand spanking new idea. We're very excited to share it with you tonight and tell you how we're going to get this thing started. Robert, my apologies, sir. Robert, tell everybody.
No. Please do not call me Robert. It is unsettling. It is my legal name. It is unsettling.
I've never called you Robert a day in my life, and I'll be damned if I'm going to start now. I'll be damned. But yes, we're here. We're here with nostalgia.
Another tangent, but few people have, aside from parents, teachers, and a surprisingly large amount of receptionists who are all gone, Robert. You know, they often call that Robert because it's my name in their records. So, if the number one people that call me Robert, definitely people that work at reception.
And that you just don't respond, and then Robert, you're like what? After like 20 minutes, you're like, it's Rob. No one calls me Robert.
Next time they're like, Liam, and you'll be like, call me Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Leonardo. Let's call me Leonardo.
Oh, word. That'd be very, very rude of me, would it not?
Well,
because I wouldn't even write that as my name. It wouldn't even be on there.
Leonardo.
Preferred name, Leonardo.
We are here to talk about a new podcast and new idea, and I love it because Leonardo, what does it make you think of?
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Teenage Mutant. Yes.
Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power.
Turtle Power.
And this is the power of nostalgia. This is the power of nostalgia.
That's right.
So I'm excited to have a podcast called Nostalgebra, where we're going to go and explore nostalgia, what it means to us, and most importantly, things that are and make us nostalgic.
Yes, that's right. And nothing's off limits. Nothing's off limits. We've got a big old list of ideas, and what we're going to do with those ideas, we're going to go through in just a second because it's the theme of tonight's episode. But as always, as with the That's Rank podcast, as with Nostalgebra, we would like you to get involved, dear listener. Now, I have changed our handles. That's Rank Pod is no more. So at this stage, we've got Insta and Facebook still. We have got Nostalgebra. You're just going to have to change the O for a 0. Nostalgebra. No, it doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? It's Nostalgebra with a 0 instead of an O. Not that hard. In fact, it's very leet speak. Do you remember leet speak, Rob?
We need a couple of dollar signs in there, or
Yeah, and just like changing letters and numbers for symbols. It was all very cool back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and that's what we're doing with the Nostalgebra. The tag I've decided, because Nostalgebra was taken already.
I'm okay with that. I like that. I actually really like the idea of a title built purely out of symbols. And look, all the links to all of the socials will be in the notes for the show, wherever you were listening to this podcast.
That's right.
Any podcast platform. you'll find links.
And the important part is, if you're part of us, if you're with us on the That's Rank podcast, you won't have to change anything. You'll still be with us, I hope. Please don't leave. Please stick with us on the journey. That's it.
But
send us money. If you want to eventually. Look, if you like us that much, please do. You know, if we can do this full time, sure, we'll do it for you.
I see sponsorship in our future. We'll be like, this episode was sponsored by Tom. Thanks, Tom, for your sponsorship.
See, I thought you were going to be like, this episode is sponsored by Disneyland Park, something that did exist back in the 90s and doesn't exist anymore. Disneyland Park.
My God.
Only our WA listeners of a certain age will remember Disneyland Park. That's going back a little bit of time.
God.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that one on the list. What about what was the water park called?
Ascot Water Playground, or a different one?
Ascot. I think Ascot Water Park. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think, maybe there was another one. Oh, and then the famously no longer appropriate. What was the one about settlers, like the colonial settlers or whatever it was? There was a little settlers town, which was basically a British colony, and it was like, we're not doing that anymore. Doing that anymore.
There are some things that definitely should have remained and were left behind in the 90s. It was probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely.
Let's just put it that way. But that's what we want from this podcast, though. Rob's reaction before when I mentioned Disneyland Park, going, "Oh God, yeah, that's right. Oh man, that's right." Deep diving into some of these fun little things, and you guys will know in advance what we will be ranking. No, see that? That is Pavlovian right there. That is just how I do this podcast. We're still ranking, apparently. We're not doing that anymore. You're going to know what's coming up, what we're going to be going into. And so if you've got ideas for that episode that we might, want to research and bring into the equation, please be sure to let us know beforehand and let us know your thoughts on the episodes. So much more interaction, Rob.
Speaking of interaction, well, actually, we did try to create a catchphrase ourselves, and I was like, "Where am I going to go for inspiration?" So I was like, "You know what, Nostalgebra? I'm gonna base it on the definition of algebra." I was excited. I was like, this must be a really dynamic idea because algebra must have a hilarious definition which we can use.
Why would you think that algebra would have a hilarious definition?
It does. It's such a great word. Like, isn't algebra just a great word?
It's a fantastic word.
Yeah, and the definition equally as fantastic. Which is a branch of mathematics that uses symbols and operations to represent relationships among different qualities. Fantastic. It rolls off the tongue. Nostalgebra, a branch of podcasts that uses symbols and operations to. So, point being, the point of all of this is that we need listeners to write in with suggestions for our tagline.
Yes.
Our tagline. We want you, listener, to contribute to our tagline. And it isn't by numbers. So no Boaty McBoatface, or maybe there will be Boaty McBoatface. Look, maybe that's part of the joke. But please, write in. We want suggestions for our tagline. We want the listener to be able to claim and be a part of it. We want our listeners to be part of this.
Yeah. So. Although, to be fair, Nostalgebra, welcome to another episode of Nostalgebra. Boaty McBoatface, let's get right into it. Fine. Why not?
Kind of works, doesn't it? Kind of works.
It does. In a strange old way, it kind of works. And look, if we get enough suggestions, we can just rotate them through. We can get new catchphrases every week. That'll be fun as well. But no, we're looking forward to
that idea.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can get involved, get us some ideas. Rob's come up with an idea.
What we could do is, if we get multiple suggestions, we'll set them up as like a family feud board, and then I'm going to get you to guess. I'm going to get you to see if you can guess the suggestion, and then if you get it right, I'm going to go, and if you get it wrong, Liam, what noise will I make? This is what we're talking about. Like, everyone knows that noise. That's wonderful.
It's a devastating noise as far as game show noises go. Like it's a devastating noise, but we won't get too far into that because game shows, hey, look, like I said before, Rob and I have come up with about 85 different nostalgic ideas that we're going to deep dive into at some stage. Game shows is definitely one of them on the list, that is for sure. But here's what we're going to do this evening. Rob, would you like to say something? You're about to say something. What are you going to say? What are you going to say, sir?
No, I'm literally, well, you explain what we're doing because you've mentioned the list. I'm literally adding Family Feud to the list right now.
Well, there's already game shows on there.
Yeah, no. I've gone game shows hyphen Family Feud question mark.
You're like, I know, Liam. I want a Family Feud episode by itself because that's how good it is. That's how good it is.
Honestly, I'm open to it.
You're open to it? All right. So here's what we're going to do. So yes, so as Rob adds ideas to the list, like I said, we would like your ideas as well. But we're going to do a bit of a draft tonight because here's how Nostalgebra is going to work. Unlike That's Rank, where we kind of flew by the seat of our pants and just made things up as we went along, we're trying something a little bit more creative, I guess you could say. So we've actually got our top, well, I think we've both chosen 10 in case one of ours gets stolen, but we've got our top 10 ideas. Oh, careful now, sir. That microphone did nothing to you. We're going to draft five. We're going to draft 5 each to get our first 10 episodes of the series. Then Rob and I are going to take turns each episode, putting stuff together, finding some information, and making it a bit more of an informative walk down memory lane. Sound about right, Rob?
Love it. A live draft. I've always wanted to draft something.
Have you? What have you drafted in past? I've never heard of you drafting anything before.
Well, I've always wanted to draft real people. Unfortunately, I've had to settle for fantasy people because there's something sadistic about being in a room going, I want that one. You I was going to come to me.
I was going to say, we'd take that out of context clip where you just said, I want to draft real people. And then I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to take everything else that you've said out. So it just makes you sound like an absolute sadist. But you're right. It's a weird idea. It's a weird idea being all right.
It's a weird idea. Yeah.
I choose you above these other people to pay money to do things for me because you are good at it. And that is what.
Exactly.
And that is the Nostalgebra rank. That's what this is.
You have no choice in the matter. You have no choice. You're coming here. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's a bit brutal. It's a bit brutal.
I don't even want to go to Detroit. I hate Detroit. I don't want to go there. Well, too bad. You've been sold to the highest bidder and you will be going to Detroit. That's how it works. I don't want to go to Detroit.
We're going to give you $35 million. Oh, I'm coming to Detroit. Detroit's great in the summer.
I've heard the water's great.
I've always wanted some mesothelioma in my family. Definitely come to Detroit.
Oh, poor Detroit. Literally, they cannot help it. They're just they just happen to live there. Poor guys. How do we get to that? We need to draft, Rob.
Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take, though.
Take.
A friend of mine moved to Detroit. Loves it. Loves it. I think the whole city collapsed on itself, and then a whole bunch of people moved in because you could buy a house for $1, and they're just rebuilding it from the ground up. Like there's this incredible community, and there's people from all over. There's great arts communities, all these great old houses, and
it's like a re-gentrification.
That's right. What is it? It's different because it's like they're gentrifying something that was already gentrified. So it's like it's re-gentrification.
It went through a degenerative phase, and now it's going through the regenerative phase. I think I just made up. It's a cycle. It's a circle of life as we go. All right. So, Rob. It's serious business to attend to. Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 Nostalgebra Draft, where Rob and I are going to choose in a battle back and forth to see which topics we would like to rank and who will be going first. Rob, do you have any coins handy by chance? Because we might need a coin for this little part of the podcast.
Interesting question, Liam. Because we signed on here, and we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this decision? And then we were like, let's go old school. And then Liam was like, coin toss. And I was like, coin toss. And then we both looked at each other through the cameras and we're like, do we even have any coins?
No. Put it on the list.
Even have any coins?
Put it on the list. Coins.
So the old coin collection. I remembered that actually, for those watching on YouTube, I actually have an old coin collection in this Santa Claus
Look at him
mug.
He's so jolly. Look at that Santa Claus mug. Oh, it's coins. Full coins. Man, you got a solid 550 there.
Coins. I'm loaded. Remember coins?
I think everyone tries to actively avoid coins at all possible costs at this point in life.
Well, hold on, watch this.
Oh
yeah, the sweet sounds of coins.
You're welcome, everybody. Some ASMR for your Wednesday evening.
I've got everything here except the good one, a $2 coin. Obviously, I've used all the $2 coins.
I would actually say
a solid gold.
I think that the good one, if you'd said I've got everything but the good one and said 2-cent coin, I would have been on board, because that'd be cool. The old 1 cent, 2 cents. Oh, goodness me.
How about a solid little 20-cent piece here with the platypus in the water?
Beautiful.
How about a solid 20? Do you want to go? We'll do the first toss of the coin.
Some designs don't need a change. That 20-cent piece has been beautiful for such a long time. Why would we change it? Now, how are we going to decide this? Are we going to go first? Rest in peace, Queen Lizzie.
Rest in peace, Queen Lizzie on the back.
Queen Lizzie on the back. God, that hasn't changed for a minute either. So we're gonna toss this coin. So is this going to be for first pick or first episode? Because that's an important thing to do as well.
Good question. Let's toss a coin for it. Let's start with first episode. That way, when we get first pick, the stakes are higher.
Ah, good one. Okay. So would you like to call it, or shall I call it?
You call
it. Okay. Heads I win, tails you lose?
Sure.
Wait a second. You said sure to heads I win, tails you lose.
As in your heads, I'm tails?
No. See, this is a classic one that my dad used to do to me all the time. Get the coin, because I can see you dropped it. You galah. You got it? So
it was a head, by the way. It was a head.
Yeah. We have to do that again. Because I said heads I win, tails you lose.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and you said, okay. So I thought I'd just stop you and just be like, are you sure?
Yeah, good. So I actually just lost. I lost because I revealed my level of intelligence to the audience. Okay, I didn't get that. Let's go. Yeah.
Look, that's my bad. You showed a level of trust in what I was saying, which, by the way, after knowing you for this long, shame on you. But you showed a level of trust in what I was saying to you, and you went, you know what? Liam's not going to try and dupe me out of a competition. He would never do such a thing. Yet here we are.
Right. As I said, right. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, then the point. Yeah, you'll never shame me again. Fool me again. That's the point.
George Bush. God, that's going back. That's like 22 years ago now. Crikey, Moses. Early 2001 is nostalgia now. My God. Yeah, all right, let's do that. Let's do that again. I will pick heads if you would like to toss that coin once more.
Okay. Well, it landed on the floor as heads last time. Hit pop quiz. What's the percentage of it being heads again? If it's already been
40, it's the same. 49.9 each way, and then 0.2% for the edge. It's like that.
2% for the.
Well, it's probably less than that, but yeah.
Probably less than that. All right, ready? So you've got heads.
Yep.
Shall we go again?
Why?
Best of three. Tails.
Okay, so it means I get the first episode. That's fine. Now we go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That's good. That gives me some more time. I was panicked. I thought it was me, and I was like, my God. That's okay. I was down for it.
Actually, what it should be is you won the coin toss. It's your choice. What would you like to do? Would you like to go first or defer to me?
I will defer to you.
What a shock.
I like time.
It's all right. Little bit of pressure on me, but that's okay. That's okay. Now we're gonna toss the coin again to see who gets first pick in the Nostalgebra Draft 2024. Well, the first one actually.
New coin.
Sure.
New coin.
It doesn't matter. It's okay.
I've got to put this one back in the can in the jar.
I love the coin integrity.
I'm going to go
the coin integrity is
10,
so important.
A 10-cent piece.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to go through all the coins.
No. I'm going to bring out the big daddy.
The big 50?
The 50. The big
watch
50.
out.
All right.
Watch out for your thumbs when you flick that one. And
watch out for my plasma screen TV, I think is more the question.
It's right above you, it's true. Do you want to take the call on this one?
I call heads.
Okay. Ooh.
Tails it is.
So I get to pick or defer. I think because I'm going first, I will pick first just to make sure I know what I'm doing first off the bat is going to be something I can do in 2 weeks.
Good point.
Which will then give you a month to prepare yours, and that'll be great. It's going to be fantastic.
I'm down for it.
Oh, my word. So here we go. 5 picks each for Rob and myself. Go on.
Before we draft, we should talk a little bit about the content. Because people might be going, how are they going to do a whole episode on subject X?
We'll tell them.
We're going to say, well, after. We'll tell about it after the draft.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you want to talk about content? Tell the lovely people while they have a swig of water.
I think we're going to have some fun. I think we're going to be doing some discussion on the facts, on the stories. We're probably going to be doing, every episode is going to be a little bit different. I think we're going to be getting we're going to be calling people, or I'm going to be calling people, and I'm going to be doing little interviews. I'm going to be getting insights. I'm going to be getting other people's stories and views. And then I think my own personal take, because we're going to take it in turns to do an episode, is that I would like to incorporate a little game of sorts, a little game that incorporates the topic. And maybe it's, look, we might do some ranking, but we also might do some drafting. We might do some other games, we might do all sorts of little kind of concepts and things. So it's going to be fun. It's not going to be a history podcast. It's about, like Let's Rank was about, getting together with your mates and just like talking about the things you love or the things you hate. Nostalgia is going to be about getting together with your mates and reflecting on the things that you used to love or hate. It's a similar kind of concept. I think bands.
So. It's the bands. I mean, there might be some times where we get a topic that we're really passionate about and we might get a little bit more involved in. You never know. We'll see where it takes us. That's the beauty of this whole new project is, like Rob said, there might be a different theme or different take on the episode every single week we do it. One week you might get a history lesson. You don't even know.
I'm going to enjoy the episode where I'm going to teach you a little bit about Buffy the Vampire Slayer as an example.
Yeah, assuming that I'm not going to choose that.
I'm assuming that you're not going to choose that, yep.
I'm not going to choose that. That's fine. All right, so... Okay, so 2 weeks I got, so I'm going to go here. So pick number one. Pick number one in the Nostalgebra Draft. I'm going to get my little computer ready here so I can write down. It's funny because now I'm looking at my list of things and I'm like, oh, did I leave something good on the table? But that's okay. My first pick of the Nostalgebra Draft, my first episode is I'm going to do something quite near and dear to me, quite near and dear to my childhood, and I'm sure quite near and dear to a lot of your childhoods as well, dear listener. I'm going to be talking the Great Gaming Divide, Nintendo versus Sega. That is going to be my first episode, the Great Gaming Divide.
I love it. It's the age-old thing of the tortoise and the two hares, because the two hares ran out front and then they started fighting each other and they fell over. And then the little PlayStation tortoise came past, and then an Xbox tortoise came past, and then they got eventually taken.
Well, I actually made some adjustments to this in the list. This great gaming divide is just Nintendo and Sega. Just that.
I like it.
Then
I like it.
The next generation will be your PlayStations v your Xboxes versus your 64s. I think they're two very separate things. Otherwise, we'd be here for 14 episodes trying to do it. That's another thing as well. If we get really into it, these episodes might go across to maybe three episodes. We don't know.
Absolutely.
We'll see how they go. But that's my number one pick.
I think there could be a number one on Nintendo versus Sega, and then we could do a whole episode on the PlayStation too. You know, we could do a whole episode on Sonic the Hedgehog, GoldenEye. We could do episodes on all these things. We will see. I like that first pick. I love that first pick. I'm looking forward to next fortnight's episode. Nintendo versus Sega. I already know which side on that divide I am, but I won't tell you.
You know, I know which side I'm on too, and I'm fairly certain we are on different sides. It should be fun to talk about.
I think we might be. Okay, so I've given each of my choices a little working title.
Oh, okay.
And this is another. My pick number one is going to have a little asterisk to it because my pick number one has four distinguished.
Already, he's already throwing the rules out the window. I'm going to pick this one, but hear me out. I'm also going to choose 4 other ones with my one pick. That's not what you're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, you're joking. All right, go on.
No, because this is where I could take it, and this is where I want the surprise of the audience because I could take it in multiple directions. But you're right. Okay. This is one pick to rule them all. So this episode is going to be called "Afternoon TV So Bad It'll Do for Now," and this is going to be about the old afternoon TV schedule. Because I don't know about you, Lem, but I certainly went through a period as a young adult when I was studying and working, and particularly working in kind of hospo jobs, where I was familiar with afternoon TV. In fact, there was one stage in my life when afternoon TV could very well have been called morning TV. Although it was scheduled in the afternoon, my sleeping patterns may have been a little bit disrupted. But there's 4 distinguished categories, and I don't know which one I'm going to start with because there's the detective show, your Columbo, your Diagnosis Murder, your Murder, She Wrote. Mm-hmm. There's the US talk show, Oprah, Donahue, Ricky Lake.
That one I might know a little bit something about, for sure.
You might get behind that one. There's the afternoon cartoon that you'd rush home from school to watch.
On board, yep.
And there's the Aussie afternoon show.
Okay.
The iconic Sweat, Ship to Shore, Round the Twist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it may be a broad umbrella episode about all 4 of those things. It may be a bit more specific. I haven't quite decided yet, but it will be my first episode. And it may simply be the fact of one episode as a broad one, and then, you know, a bit further down the line, we're going to get stuck into Columbo. A bit further down the line, Ricky Lake, come on down. You know, like...
Yeah. Donahue.
I'm looking forward to it.
I always remember Donahue being super old, but I reckon if I look back on it now, he'd be like 36, and I'd be like, oh, he actually wasn't that old at all.
Yeah. God, I'm probably older than Donahue. Oh my God. I might be, no, in all seriousness, we're joking. I might actually be the same age as Donahue.
As Donahue was back when he was doing this. Do you want to do a quick fact check or save it for the episode? Save it for the episode.
I'll save it for the episode. I may actually be as old as Jerry Springer was, though. Like, I think Jerry Springer looked really old when I was watching him, but he's probably around.
Yeah, that would check out because he passed away like I think 4 or 5 years ago. He was in his mid-70s. That was about 30 years ago, Jerry Springer. So yeah, checks out. All right, here we go. So we've got gaming, we've got TV. So I feel like I've also got to give the audience a bit of mixture. You know what I mean? I don't want to go too hard on TV, too hard on something. So that could come to my detriment in case you choose one of the other TV ones that I really want. But maybe we'll do a trade.
Okay.
If there's a draft, we can do trades, surely. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go a little bit out of the media spectrum. I'm going to go a bit culture. I'm going to go some culture. I'm going to talk about a book. I'm going to talk about a book series. There's my thumbs up. I'm going to be talking in my episode about R.L. Stein's Goosebumps series. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm talking Goosebumps.
R.L. Stein. What a name.
Unbelievably, I was talking to a very good friend of mine about this the other day, and she goes, I have all of the Goosebumps still. Do you want them? I said, I mean, I will borrow them for this episode. Absolutely, I will, because my goodness me, my childhood in a nutshell. I used to own every single one of those as well. Wow. I don't know where they went. That could be anywhere. But that's what I'm taking as my...
Oh, my God.
I'm taking that as my number 2 pick. Goosebumps, the book series, not the TV series, only books.
Well, I mean, but I'll be down for the TV series too. But no, books great. Remember book club? Remember school book club when you used to be able to buy books?
Do you remember when we were younger, we could buy books? We can't do that anymore. It's all on these bloody computers.
I remember like they would send out a booklet. They would send out a booklet, and I was so excited for it every year. And then you'd be able to pick books from the booklet, and then you'd order them, and they'd come to the classroom, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, my books!"
Mum, I want the Buggerlugs Bum Thief again. You got that last year. I loved it so much. Give it to me. We still have the book. Read it again. All right. So we have 2 picks in the bag. Or for myself, what is going to be your number 2 pick, Mr. Rob?
Okay, so what's my number 2 pick? What's my number 2 pick? Here's my number 2 pick. Oh, actually, I definitely think it's one that you're not going to go for, though. So do I want to go for one that's maybe a bit more... I am. I'm going to go my number 2 pick, although it's another TV one. It's my only other TV one, so I'm going to go for it. My number 2 pick is Rage and MTV.
That's music. Okay, that is music.
And the title is People Are Jogging, I Should Go to Bed.
Oh, yes. Oh, I feel bad for not coming up with ideas for names now. That is fantastic. That is so good. That is such a good name.
Oh. So Rage and MTV. I mean, I think most of our Australian listeners will be familiar with Rage, but I've thrown MTV in there because it's like the American equivalent, and it's certainly the one that's known internationally. And they're basically the same thing. I mean, MTV was a whole network, and Rage was an iconic Australian TV show, which not just like was a great TV show for early in the morning, but I honestly believe like Rage really just was a cultural library, like, and it was a cultural librarian. Whoever guest programmed Rage was just like, you know, it really educated and just introduced people to so much amazing music. Rage. So that's my number 2, Rage and MTV. People are jogging. I should go to bed.
I'm going to get you to name my episodes too. Stuff it. Or maybe I'll just get ChatGPT to do it. Did you use ChatGPT to name your episodes? Did you?
No. You're Chat Robert. Chat BERT.
Chat Robert.
Well, hold on. What are your 2 ones so far? So Sega versus Nintendo.
Yep, and Goosebumps.
Okay, what could a title be for Sega versus Nintendo?
Oh, it's okay. We'll come up with that later on. I mean, I've called it the Great Gaming Divide, but I'm sure I can come up with something a bit better than that. But we'll work on that.
That's accurate.
It's true. It's true. But we digress. We'll come up with the
Sega
names.
versus Nintendo. That's not a hedgehog. This is a hedgehog.
Sega versus Nintendo's. But hedgehogs are pets. Anyway, that's like... So stupid. So dumb. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I've got to pick my number 3. What am I going to do? Okay, you said that you only got 2 TV ones, so I feel like my other one that I want to do is safe now. So I feel okay about that.
Okay.
This is genuinely tricky. Okay, so you've just done a music one. I do have a music one that I kind of want to go into. But right, I'm going to go. God, I feel like the pressure. Like I feel like there should be like a stop clock on me. I'm gonna go culture. I'm gonna go culture again. I'm gonna go something that's not something that's so going to be so specific to everybody else. Do I do it? No, I'm not going to do it. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm going to go sports, and I'm going to dive into the Sydney Olympic Games.
Oh,
yeah.
The Sydney Olympic Games.
Because that was like the middle. Like that's like the start. So in my mind, the year 2000 is like where nostalgia ends, but it's not true though. Like I think anything that starts with the 1990 or a 1980 is nostalgia. But thing is though, the 2000s was more than half my life ago. Yes, that math does check out. So like that's nostalgia. That's nostalgia, and that was a big event for Australia. It was huge. So
that's definitely nostalgia.
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, the co-host of your other podcast wasn't even born when the Sydney Olympics happened.
Shout out to the Dodgy Punts podcast where I talk footy with Jesse Dart. Come and join us over there if you like your footy. But you're right, he was born post 2000, which is something else, something crazy. But I think that'd be a bit of fun, like diving into some of the nuances of the Sydney Olympics. Yeah,
big time. Kathy Freeman.
Yeah,
Nikki Webster.
Right. Nikki Webster. That's right. And that's a whole problem right there. Crikey, man.
There's a problem. There's a big problem.
Oh,
the lawnmowers in the opening ceremony. Do you remember that one? The lawnmowers?
No, I don't, which is why I can't wait to go back and watch it and relive some of it and see what's going on. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So yeah, that'll be my number 3. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of did that in the last. I should have stuck with what I wanted to do, but it's okay. I feel okay about it. I'll come back to it later. It's fine.
Oh God, I think that's pretty good. Oh God, there's actually like, I picked 5, right? But now I'm going through and there's like afterwards I want to read out honorable mention some of this because there is some great Nostalgebra episodes coming. I can't wait for.
Yeah.
My number 3 pick. It's food. You know, I love my food.
Just food. Okay.
And sure, both these companies still exist. However, they peaked at a time in which there was no alternative other than this choice. Smiths or Samboys. Because in a world before Doritos, that was it. You had your Smiths, you had your Samboys. If you didn't like either of those options, it was barbecue shapes for you. So Samboys versus Smiths, for me, is very nostalgic. It's very nostalgic from my childhood. And the working title for this is Smiths versus Samboys, Don't Fuck with the Babadook.
The Gobbledock?
The Gobbledock. Oh, the Babadook. The Gobbledock. Damn it.
It's the Gobbledock.
It's the Gobbledock. The Babadook. Well, but I stand by it. I don't fuck with the Babadook either.
Yeah, don't fuck the Babadook. Just call the episode that anyway. Don't fuck with the Babadook, and it'll still be fine.
The Gobbledock. Don't fuck with the Gobbledock. That's what I mean. Remember that guy? Remember that character?
Hell yeah, of course. How can you forget the Gobbledock? He's like burnt into my memory. A weird little monster.
I think a lot of people. I showed this to somebody. This was at work about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
a colleague of mine, much junior to me, junior in age, not in professional ability.
Sure,
I'll say that much. I was like,
you're an unprofessional man. Everyone knows this about you, so it's not hard to be.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but you're absolutely right.
Oh no, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, so don't fuck with the Gobbledock. Samboys versus Smiths. Mm-hmm. I look forward to a fiery debate. That is going to be an actual battle. We're going to be bringing in outside opinions. We're going to be asking the question, which one is better, Smiths versus Samboys? I have my choice. I wonder, Liam, if you're on the opposite side of where I sit. Only time will tell about this. Samboys versus Smiths.
That screams like an in-person episode, blind taste test, Smiths versus Samboys kind of thing.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's going to have to be an in-person episode. We're going to have to get some guest hosts. We're going to have to be. That's going to have to be like a game show. Like that's going to have to be like Price is Right style games about.
Beautiful.
Price is Right. Oh.
Hey, listen, that video game one episode, the game show one episode will be something else. I'm going to take for my number four pick. I'm going to take this now because if I don't take it now, I fear that it might come back to haunt me. Even though I don't think you will take it, nor will I think you'll take it in the future. But it's something that I really want to talk about. And so my number four pick is going to be called, well, it's not going to be called this, but the topic is Nightmare Fuel Kids TV. Nightmare Fuel Kids TV. I'm going to be talking Plasmo. I'm going to be talking bloody Johnson and Friends. I'm going to be talking all that claymation stuff you used to get back in the day. Like that stuff, if you go back and watch it now, it was stuff made from nightmares. And I want to dive into all of those and just see what people thought. Why for kids back then were these things just so messed up? Yeah. So messed up, man.
Pingu.
Well, Pingu was like
the stuff of nightmares. Pingu. The stuff. Beep, 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 beep.
That wasn't the noise. That was a terrible attempt. It was Newt.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I don't know what the first one was. Yeah, but
who cares?
Listen, who cares? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But Nightmare Fuel Kids TV, I think, is going to be a really fun one because I think it'll make people go back.
That's awesome.
Who may not have thought about half these TV shows for all these years, and go, "Oh yeah, that was bad. That was bad, man. That was messed up." So that's my number four. That's my number four. Nightmare Fuel Kids TV.
I'm adding, like, this is the thing. Once you start get going, because at first we were like Nostalgebra, like how many, like what are we going to talk about? Like, honestly, it never ends. Never ends. There's so many things. I've just added Pingu to the list. I've just added, like, you're doing Nightmare TV, but there's scary movies as well. You know, like back in the day. All right, my number 2 is toys. It's going to be about a toy. That's not my number 2, not toys broadly. My number 2 is books.
My number 1.
Nostalgia.
My number 1 is nostalgia.
My number 2, movies.
Well, when you did number 3 and you said food, I was like, all of it. Some trouble here.
My number 2 is going to be in the toy section.
Okay.
And I got to go back into the history books and explore troll dolls.
Ah, okay.
Hashtag, were they on drugs?
Yes. What was it back then? Were they?
I mean, what a weird phenomenon troll dolls were. So troll dolls were a little plastic toy with brightly coloured spiky hair, and for a period in time, they were all the rage.
Please, I'm almost certain you're not going to have to explain to anyone what a troll doll is. You say the word troll dolls, people know exactly what you'll be talking about. You know, sometimes when I do my hair, just when I got too much stuff in my hair, sometimes, what's that? Troll doll. See? And that just
it's the rare brunette troll doll.
Well,
no one ever bought it, but it does exist.
Oh man, this is so much fun. This is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to this now. The more we get into it, the more I'm like, yeah, we got so much stuff to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Troll dolls with hashtag were they on drugs? I mean, almost certainly. But what are you going to? I'm looking forward to seeing what you deep dive into with that particular topic. It's very interesting.
So am I.
What is the thing? Sometimes we're going to need your help, dear listener, to come help us through this.
Absolutely.
We might need some ideas. You might see us on Instagram just frantically putting out a thing going, please help. I need some ideas. Please tell me. Please tell me. All right.
My fifth into the episode and it'll just be like, and there was one with pink hair. Oh, yeah, pink hair. What about the one with green hair? Oh, yeah, the one with green hair. What about blue? Yeah, blue hair. It's just going to be that for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. See ya. Let us know if you had a troll doll and what shapes you did with its hair. Thank you for listening to Nostalgebra. Yeah, perfect. I can't wait for that. 45 minutes of that. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I might even dye our hair for that episode.
Hey, you don't have to tell me twice. My number 5, my last pick of round 1 of the Nostalgebra draft is going to be as follows.
The Wembenyama. No.
I got number 1, bro. It's going to be this. The decade of the one-hit wonder. The decade of the one-hit wonder is going to be my 5th. I'm just going to write that down.
Which decade was that?
Well, in my head, only because it's when I in my head, I'm only thinking of one decade for me, and that is the 90s. But that said,
okay,
the 80s was also quite a
big one hit.
Yep. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run.
The whole decade was frankly a one hit wonder. Like the whole decade was basically like it was big for about 10 years and then just disappeared and no one wanted to talk about it. That was the 1980s.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you see a lot of the a lot like now a lot of the 90s fashions coming back. I'm sure like the 80s went through a thing, but did they? Is anyone coming back with those, that big hair and the who knows? Who knows? I think 90s fashion was easy though. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that because that could be a whole episode by itself. It's actually on the list.
A whole episode.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I think the 80s did come back with Stranger Things, like that was a lot of 80s stuff going around that time.
Yeah. That's true. That is very true. Rob, round us out for the round 1 of the Nostalgebra 2024 draft. Your last pick.
Look, as I'm looking at the ones that I had picked and then going back to the list and seeing things like Pingu, seeing things like Hypercolor T-shirt. I know, and I love it. Drive-in cinemas, Jean-Claude Van Damme, video stores, the floppy disk. Like there is just so much going on here, but I'm regretting my choice a little. No, I'm not regretting my choice, but I'm wondering why did I pick this one? Well, I guess because it is pure nostalgia for me. There is something about this that just speaks to childhood, that just speaks to warm memories of childhood, good memories of childhood, and this is the After Dinner Mint. Why only after dinner?
Okay. All right. I say this with love, my friend, with absolute love. How are you going to make a full episode out of after dinner mints and only after dinner mints? I mean, I appreciate the challenge, but my God.
Well, that is going to be where the fun is going to sit there. Afterwards, I might need myself an after dinner mint because I might be parched and needing some help with degustation. I haven't thought that far ahead. All I want to know is I want to do an episode about the after dinner mint. That's all I want to know. And just as an example, when you Google after dinner mints, one of the first things that come up is, are after dinner mints good for you?
Oh, well,
I mean, the answer to that question. To find out the answer to that question, you're going to need to tune in exactly 10 episodes' time.
Breakthrough. It's the breakthrough that we've all been waiting for. Until that time, we're going to be gorging on after dinner mints, hoping the answer is yes. But are we going to find out? We'll never know. We'll never know. So there it is. There are our first picks in the Nostalgebra draft. So you know exactly which episodes are coming up in order. The Great Gaming Divide, Sega versus Nintendo. Then we're going to have Afternoon TV, Afternoon TV. So bad, it'll do for now. Episode number 3 will be Goosebumps, the book series, not the TV series. And then we're going to go into Rage MTV. Rage. People are jogging. I should go to bed, which might be so far the best name of any episode we're ever going to have. That is such a good name. Then I'm going to dive into Sydney Olympics 2000, followed by Smiths versus Sandboy, Don't Fuck with the Gobble Doc, Nightmare Fuel Kids TV for myself, then Troll Dolls, #Were They on Drugs, the Decade of the One Hit Wonder to round out my 5th episode, and then Rob will bring us home for the first round. After Dinner Mints, why only after dinner? Subtext, are they really good for you? Now, Rob, do you have any last minute switch outs you want to do? You happy with your 5?
Oh, I love my 5, and I love my 5 because I also know that like there's so many more to come down the road.
Oh yeah,
so many more to come down the road. So we've got no shortage of ideas. You know that we could do a whole season just on boy bands, frankly. But so I am excited and I'm looking forward. And I think what a great first 10 episodes. As you were rattling them off, I was like, sign me up. Where do I subscribe?
Yeah. Well, you can subscribe on Spotify, on YouTube, at Nostalgebra on both of those platforms. We've actually got Nostalgebra for those too. So you can go and check us out there. Like we said at the start, at the top of the show, if you've been subscribed to the That's Ranked podcast this entire time, you need to go nowhere, dear people. Oh, Robbie, boy, it's nearly time for bed. Nearly time for bed. My goodness.
Oh, no, Kenny. Start.
Good night, Captain Possum. Kookaburra kangaroo.
Kookaburra kangaroo. Good night,
young Kenny. And good night to you. Got to get to bed with my weary head. Got to brush my teeth because there's prayers to be said. Put away the toys in the old toy box. Put away the toys in the old toy box. Bring in the cat. Snap on the locks. Snap on the locks. Sun's going down in 10 seconds. So, I mean, that's what you can look forward to on the Nostalgebra podcast. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But this is the thing, though. Once you get into it, you just go. But that'll do it.
I'm going to challenge myself with really tough episodes. I'm going to try and do a whole episode about, have you ever bought or rented a video that wasn't quite right? You may be watching a pirated copy. I could do it. I'm going to see if I can do something random like that. Just pull a whole episode out on some random old video warning that we used to get. Well, because it's nostalgia.
Rob, you wouldn't steal a car. So... Yeah, you know the song as well. There's like that hacker on the TV. No, we're going to stop because now we're going to start just naming every single part of those adverts, and there's going to be a lot of them. But that's a good idea. Chuck it on the list. But I think that's going to do it for episode 1. You guys know exactly what is coming up for the next 10. We'll put a little list out so you guys can see. We want your ideas. At Nostalgebra on Facebook and on Instagram. Just replace that O with the number 0. At Nostalgebra on YouTube. At Nostalgebra on Spotify. Come and join us. Come and join the party. Come and join the trip down memory lane. We are looking forward to it. Rob, anything else you would like to add before we send these lovely people away for episode 1?
Just to say that while me and Liam may be of a particular generation, we are going to be bringing in many people from across the spectrum of generations, because what may be nostalgic to one person may not be nostalgic to another, and we want to unpack what's nostalgic for everybody. Yeah. So write in your suggestions, get involved. We can't wait to have you join us in our journey as a listener, or even better, join us as a contributor. And remember, log lines, taglines, send them our way. Yeah, but in McBadface, we need to get better.
Yes.
Potty McPodface. No,
don't give my ideas. Don't give my ideas. Jesus. God, that's what it's going to be, isn't it? No, it's just how it's going to be. But that's okay. But thanks everyone for joining us for episode 1 of Nostalgebra. Looking forward to this journey. Hopefully you guys are as well. We'll see you later.
I want to find out. We'll see you later. We'll goodbye for now, and then we'll remember you again in 10 years and think of you warmly. No, that's not really a good sign off, is it? But you see where I'm going. We'll put that to the listeners as well, shall we? Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?